Welcome to the Get Your New View podcast. This is Carrie Peters, and I'm welcoming our special guest today, Kim Congleton, who is visiting us today to talk about some customer success stories related to training. Welcome to the podcast, Kim.
Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. So we talked about all kinds of customer success stories, but what's the one that you brought to share with the audience today?
I think there's a couple of them I can think of, but there was one where we were training the warehouse users for a company, and it's one of my favorite ones because we really had a lot of fun training them in the actual warehouse. So it's one of the things I like to do. I think I've been doing it for about the last 6-7 years, where it just makes it easier for the warehouse people to actually pick it up and really embrace the system if we actually go out on the floor, use the actual handheld, kind of have some fun while we're doing it, have some races, have some, do a little fun and games out on the floor. So it was a company that they just had like a great group of guys and women out in the warehouse, and they really just kind of embraced it.
Kim, I have to ask you a question first before we move on in our interview. What does a handheld race look like?
Well, so the one I like to do is like where we do target practice, or kind of like, like the old style Westerns with the draw. So like we'll have a barcode that everybody's going to kind of take their turn shooting at. And so, you kind of all stand up there with your gun at your side, and you kind of, see who can get the barcode first and have it actually read. A lot of people don't realize when you go from paper to handhelds, it takes a little bit of skill and practice to actually get it to read properly. So I find that that's kind of the easiest way, and a lot of people have fun doing that. And it's funny because you'll walk out in the warehouse and you'll hear all these beeping, this beeping going on. And it's everybody practicing their, scanner skills.
Yeah, quick draw. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a way to have fun with some training. Very cool. So here's a more serious question. What kind of mistakes do you see companies making with training?
I think, especially for the warehouse, the biggest one is trying to train everybody sitting down in a conference room on a computer, instead of actually being out on the floor with the handhelds. There's some things you need to train, at a computer. But then, for the majority of the workforce, they really need to use it out on the floor. They need to do actual picks or putaways or shipments and, cycle counts, physical inventories. If they don't I find it's hard for them to kind of, equate with what they see on the machine with the feeling and kind of the flow of what it's going to be out on the floor. So it doesn't really sink in until they're actually out on the floor and they can do it. Yeah,
absolutely. Puts them in a familiar environment with some new technology, but at least in the place that they're used to working and doing their job every day, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Okay, good. So how do you find that New View training is different from other training that you've seen out there?
I think because we really do stress, going out on the floor and doing the actual activities. And there's also the repetitive nature to our training. So it's not just a one and done. It's we're going to do this over and over. We're going to have different scenarios. A lot of times we're helping them work through the errors, or a lot of times I like to actually cause the system to have errors so that they then know how to fix that. So it's really, I like to say it's like, what's going to happen in real life.
Yep. Fantastic. Okay. So one of my favorite things to talk about with all of our trainers are the aha moments that they've seen with their customers, because I love seeing everybody come out of training and tell the story about, the person who just had this giant aha moment with something that happened in the class. So what's an aha moment that you can think of that's happened in some of your training?
Well, I had a customer, we were doing, the training part of the stuff that was on the computer. And there was one guy in the group that just, I wasn't sure if he really was getting it or if he was, he just kind of wasn't really participating, was kind of shy, didn't want to answer any questions, didn't have any questions to ask, and, kept trying to draw him in, but he just was, just kind of in his own little world. And then we got out on the floor and we started doing training out on the floor. And all of a sudden, this guy is like running around, like doing everything, and people are asking him for help. He's like, oh, no, wait, you have to do it this way or you have to do it that way. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know this guy was actually really, I wasn't sure if he was paying attention or not. And then you get him out in his environment, and he totally was like the star pupil. And then he was helping everybody else out. And it was really cool to see like him all of a sudden, this shy guy that was sitting in the corner is now all of a sudden the life of the party. So it was really cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. What a great story. Well, very good, Kim. Thank you very much for being here to share some stories with us. It's always great to hear more stories about how customers are doing well with NewView training. I'm Carrie Peters. Thank you for tuning in to the Get Your NewView podcast. For more episodes like this on YouTube, click the subscribe button and ring the bell to ensure that you get notified whenever there's new content coming out. If you're listening to the audio podcast, please share an honest review on Apple Podcasts. If you are ready to rethink today for tomorrow, look for the link below and contact us to speak with our expert team. You won't find the level of no-nonsense, real-world experience we offer anywhere else, and we're here to put that experience to work for you. Do you think you could use more features of your software if you just knew how? Are you frustrated with inefficiency that never seems to get better? Did your team ever really get good training to understand how to use your business software? Do you suspect that there just has to be a better way, but you don't know what that is? We believe every company can benefit from increased efficiency and higher utilization of their software, and that it's possible to have fun while learning exactly how to do that. The experts at NewView Strategies will tap into the true power of Dynamics Business Central and NAV for your company by helping you to rethink today for tomorrow. Please contact us at getyournewview.com to get started.